So the first pair that I'm looking at is Euro CAD, specifically for two features that I like here, right? So first it's just this basic level that has been building up here into an ascending triangle, right? As in this specific line that starts here. We actually had activity here, so that's why I'm so focused on this, because it will determine whether we're actually reaching down or continuing up the upper move. Ideally, a breakout to the high would be nice, but otherwise, right here, I'm still focused on this area here, because if we go down also to the lower time frames, this is the weekly, right? So we go down to daily, and we can see it's actually more defined over here. It's like it really behaved well within these bounds, with very little fault. You see what I mean? So that's why I'm really sort of zoned in on Euro CAD. Just that, basically, nothing too complicated. And then the second is Euro GBP, right? I think this one is the most interesting for me, specifically because of these rises, right? I remember doing analysis on this. I think you can find it in one of the previous videos where we actually analyzed this entire channel here, right? And it really behaved well. It had to break out the retest, even though the actual retest entry was reacting to a less significant level. I still really like it because right now it's even held onto that same level here. So I'm just still looking for this movement. This is what would be usually expected, but the only thing we truly profit from, according to the strategy, are those breaks. So that's what I'm really aiming for. Get what I mean? And remember, I have mentioned about position trading. I remember I'm sort of trying to make a distinction between breakout trading and trend trading. Breakouts, it's here, but then trend trading is trading basically within the range. Like you'd be anticipating a buy, but you actually take the trade here up to this here where your targets would be. Then maybe after you then take another entry. Just keep that in mind because those are the two methods of entry. So you might find that even here it was a really good entry. If you look at the action that it actually, like sort of the activity that happened around the 50 EMA right over here, you check what I mean? It's like an exact bounce off of the 50 EMA. And you can truly find many other examples of the 50 EMA. Don't neglect it. There are many examples that show up of activity around it that actually turns out to be significant. So keep out for that. But basically, this is the structure we have here. So you can basically get an idea of what I'm looking for. You get what I mean? So that is Euro GBP. Right? Then the next pair is AUD USD, right? Okay, let's have a look. So AUD USD, I have not changed any of the sort of analysis that I used before. It's been the same from the previous videos, still the same thing. I remember actually doing this here, and I was saying I'm anticipating that it's gonna either go down. I think it was around here actually, this song where I said it would. No, it was during this trend. I'm pretty sure it was, and I actually have the video on the YouTube channel. You should check it out. Where I said it would either break out here or go down to this level, and that didn't happen. It merely went halfway, and it's sort of now only breaking out instead of where I said it would. So you see what I mean? So even when actually considering all possibilities, other manifestations happen. But in my playbook, it's always either up, down, or sideways. These are the basics. There are many variations, obviously, where you even find it's going, but then they always fall within these basic parameters. So just take note of that over here, because you can even draw an even tighter period of consolidation in here, where this would have been an actual fake out. I would have entered here for a sell to the down, and I would have been stopped out here as a consequence. But then now, after reviewing, you can actually see the opportunity that's presenting itself. This is the 4 hour. If you go down to the H1, you can see it more clearly. You can see the activity that's happening here more clearly. You see what I mean? So just keep watch out for this as well. Here we also have USD CAD, still reacting to that same analysis we drew before. Still stuck within the broader channel and the two smaller channels within it, right? But if you go down to the lower time frames, you see that quite a lot of activity actually happened there, and some of you might have actually caught on to it. But there's a problem I'd like to highlight. You see what I mean? Like over here, we were inside this trend perfectly. There was one fake out over here. Okay, good enough. Anyway, that there was no second confirming candle anyway, but okay, that's that, right? So over here, this could have been interpreted as an entry signal, but if you actually pay more attention to it, hold up. If you pay more attention to it, you realize that the telltale signs of a perfect entry really aren't here. As much as this was a breakout, in an ideal breakout, you want the candle to have a considerable lift, but you also want a confirming candle. Now, we all know that at times it'll actually overextend and you'll miss out, but you need to do your own risk benefits, your cost benefits analysis to basically decide is it worth it. Because the more it moves away from the entry target, like if this candle sort of gapped all this way up here, it's already destroyed our risk management settings. You see what I mean? So even if it was a valid trade, it wouldn't have been sort of smart to take it. So over here, it's the same kind of thing. It had a really high reach out of here, and it really collected a lot of people. You see what I mean? You can actually see in hindsight the reasons why a trade did not succeed. This candle, barely a breakout, and these sort of doji candles over here where it's like it's indecision, and immediately all entries in here were just collected back here. Now people obviously will recognize, oh, it's a fake out, whatever. It's actually a retest, because yeah, I draw a line, but it's actually a zone. People say, yeah, it's a retest, and then they'll enter again, but it's just the same thing repeated, the same method repeated. One breakout, this sort of indecision candles here, and then a drop back down where we currently are. So this counts as a fake out, this entire move over here. And for PBMA traders, you can see some telltale signs of a semi MOV or two extremes, if you will, but it didn't really surpass this level. But you can just see the telltale signs. So as much as I was favoring a move to the high, I think now I'm sort of beginning to see, I don't know, adhere to these black levels that I drew instead of the smaller channels which were actually appearing within it. So just also keep a watch out for that. GBP USD. This is the most interesting one currently for me, because the previous trend is like highly defined. You can see it. There's no issue with that. But I like to pay more attention to this here, right? We had this trend, and then obviously we had our breakout over here, right? Okay, and following retest 50 EMA again. Take notes. 50 EMA again. Take notes. Activity on 50 EMA. Take note. But anyway, it's like we have this larger trend, which was the guiding momentum, but then we had this counter trend as soon as it failed to keep making to sort of continue the trend, and then it just found this new smaller trend, which in and of itself has been reversed. But then we're still stuck within this larger zone, though. We're still within here, within these bounds. So I'm watching activity closely here for what actually happens. You see what I mean? But I would really favor a move going in line with the larger momentum, as I usually do. However, at all times, I'm always analyzing, always adjusting. So any move is welcome. Whatever the market gives me, I will take it with open arms. This is the weekly chart. We can move down to lower time frames to see it be more defined in a way for actual trading. I noticed someone, I think, asked a question about entry. Really, you should have 3 time frames. You'll have, like, for example, this is the weekly, then I'll go down to the daily, then I'll go down to the H4. There's another method that people use where it'll be H1, and then H4 is for entry, and then day 1 is just for higher analysis. But I prefer you start from your highest, maybe H4, H1, and then you enter on M15. I just wanted to put that in. Now, Euro USD is the most disappointing to me. I've been sort of following this movement for weeks now, and it's just been this, and I don't like this. It isn't really good for me. Now, it would much better if this was happening within, maybe there was a rise and then it was moving within that, but it's like a sort of a downward slope. And I was really trusting in this formation here to set that direction long term, but it didn't really manifest. So USD, I'm still keeping an eye on it, and I'll be updating you with my analysis as I said I would. But it isn't really one of the pairs I'm so keen on. But I just thought I should sort of include it here. And as for the other pairs that I mentioned, the peripheries, what I meant is like sort of the pairs that I'm not paying too much attention to, but I keep my eye on them in case they do provide good opportunity. And as for the commodities as well, I will include them in that. Currently in this feed, I only did for forex charts. I thought I'd make it more orderly. But yeah, this is my watch list, and I will incorporate what I perceive as being the best from my own list and from other people's lists, and sort of make a group list. But feel free to analyze any pair. There's no need to stick to it. It's merely a motivating device, so sort of get people in conversation talking about the same thing. So yeah, that's it for me for today. I'll be back again tomorrow in terms of videos. So I'll just be active in the group, and feel free to contact, call. Please subscribe to this channel, and refer other people to it. Share the information you find here freely. There's no problem.